بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله وما توفيق ولا اعتماد إلا على الله عليه توكلت وإليه أنيب. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ولا نظير له ولا مثيل له، شهادة موصلة إلى دار القرار. ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده وحبيبه ورسوله أرسله الله تعالى رحمة للعالمين، صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأولاده وأزواجه وأصحابه وخلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعده ووزراء الكاملين في عهده، خصوصا منهم على الأئمة خلفاء رسول الله على التحقيق. حضرة أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي والقدر الجليل وعلى بقية الصحابة والتابعين رضوان الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين. يا أيها المؤمنون الحاضرون اتقوا الله تعالى وأطيعوه، إن الله مع الذين اتقوا والذين هم محسنون. قال الله تعالى في كتاب منزل على نبينا المرسل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. آمنا بالله، صدق الله المولانا العظيم وبلغ رسوله الأمين، ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما ينبغي لجلال سلطانه وعظيم شانه، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأولين والآخرين وحبيب رب العالمين والشفيع المذنبين سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. صدق الله العظيم. All praise be to Allah Almighty. Endless peace and blessings of Allah be upon His most beloved Prophet and Messenger, Sayyidina Muhammadin sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, sent as a mercy for all creation. May endless peace and blessings of Allah be upon His blessed family, his companions, and all those who follow his guidance, his teachings, his sunnah up to the end of the time. O believers, this is the call from Allah Almighty towards his servants, calling us with this beautiful name, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, Kutiba alaykum as-siyam. It becomes an obligation for you to fast as it was for the previous nations. كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. And the main purpose for this great act of obedience and worshipping of Allah Almighty is to reach the station of piety, to become a pious من أهل التقوى, من أهل التقوى والمغفرة, and this is the highest ever station and maqam you can reach as a servant, to reach the maqam of the piety, of the purity from all the sins, and that can be achieved through this great test which Allah is making for us during the month of fasting. This ibadah is not new only for the ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Allah is saying that it has been prescribed for the nations before you, but it was a different timing and different ways. Like Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam, he used to fast all his life, and this is most beloved fasting to Allah, because he fasted all his life, one day fasting, the second breaking, another fasting, next breaking, fasting, breaking, all the time, never getting used to it. For us, when we start Ramadan, we may face some difficulty in first 2-3 days, first week, but after that, we become used to it. But Sayyidina Dawood never letting his body get used to it. To make it more difficult, it means much more reward, much more blessings. It not become an adah, a way of like getting used to it, but it become a worshipping. This is the whole aim, that we are in a state of worshipping, not just by stopping from eating and drinking, but also through our tongues, with our hands, with our feet, with our hearts, with our minds also. It is so important to understand the reality behind is not just not eating and drinking. The real ibadah, the state of ibadah is when we are continuing through the month of Ramadan to think before we say what we say. Is this what I'm going to say going to hurt anyone? Is this what I'm going to say is true? Is this what I'm going to say? First, the control of the tongue, because the source of all the troubles people face in their life, not coming from their hands, using their hands or their feet. It is mostly starting from the tongue, because all the fitness and troubles in family, in community, in society, starting all from the tongue. Then by thinking, this is the highest maqam of fasting, by thinking before you saying what you're saying, is not going to help anyone. Say, most of the people understand that if you eating or drinking, you're breaking your fast. But 99% of the people never thinking that what spoils the fast without eating and drinking is with our tongue also. If you're lying, it breaks the fast. There is no point for us to make our bodies suffer if we are not protecting our ibadah and thinking to control our tongue and to get rid of this habit. because this is most dangerous habit. All of us tested and challenged. Because who is the biggest liar? It's Shaitan. Alayhi lana. He's swearing to Adam and Hawa that if you eat from this tree, you will live forever. And Sayyidina Adam, never thinking somebody will use the name of Allah to lie and say, Wallahi, he believed it. And he become from his enmity and hasad for maqam which Allah raised Sayyidina Adam and Hawa, because before them he was the highest, even higher than angels, and it used to be known as Tawusul Malaika. The peacock of the angels was so beautiful because he was worshipping, never doing anything wrong. But when Sayyidina Adam was granted that honor to be highest among all the creation, even higher than angels, he became envious. And this envy and this lying make him to lose that station of beauty of being Tawus al-Malaika, to be the peacock of angels, more beautiful than angels, to become the most ugliest of all creations. This is his maqam, become from the highest to the lowest. And this is not just for Iblis, it is also for people. If they don't keep the promise, if they don't follow the way of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they following the way of the enemy, the Iblis, taking his characteristics, amongst them lying, which breaks the fast, because control of the tongue most important, then intention, then thought. But thought is not easy for anyone to control their thought, because Sahaba were very fearful when the last three verses of Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed, when Allah make believers accountable even for their thoughts, for their intentions. They were crying because no one can control their thoughts. Then Allah revealed the following verses, which making لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, making responsibility only for the things you are responsible, you can control, and things you can do, and you can stop from doing. Then for this will be responsible, not for your thoughts. But the whole idea is that we train during this month, for 1 month, in order for us to continue for the rest of our life through the year to be closer to Allah Almighty. Because with the piety, with the taqwa, we're reaching to the most honorable stations, what Allah granting for you to be His honored servant in dunya and in akhirah. Because if you are reaching that station of piety, Allah is promising, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. For those who are completely surrendering to Him and become pious, Allah's promise is for them to make for every difficulty solution for them. Whatever challenges, difficulties they face, they will find quickly, easy, coming out of these troubles, and will provide for them. Their provision, their risk will come from where they don't even expect. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah's promise also for the people of piety, which the aim of the fasting is to make us to be pious. Allah promising for them to teach them. And if He is teaching you, do you think Shaitan going to be able to play with you and cheat you? No, impossible. Because Allah granting you some type of knowledge, which is not through the books, coming through your heart, ilham. And that is called hikmah. وَمَنْ أُوتِيَ الْحِكْمَةِ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. And when Allah is granting this gift, this type of knowledge, this type of wisdoms, then that servant has been granted a great honor, a great grant from Allah Almighty. Grants of Allah in these days of first beginning of the first 10 days of Ramadan, full of mercy. Sayyidina Rasulullah described it. The first 10 days, mercy. The second 10 days, maghfirah. And all of us asking for maghfirah. Because all of us are sinners. All of us have shortcomings even in our worshippings, let alone in our dealings with one another. But when we are asking sincerely, Allah's promise also to forgive. And in the end, last 10 days, Allah's promise is to make itkum min an-nar, safety from the hellfire. One day, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam was coming to do the khutbah al-Jum'ah. As he was stepping the first step, Sahaba hearing him saying, Ameen. Second step, again he's saying, Ameen. Third step, again he's saying, Ameen. But they're not hearing anything, only Ameen. After the Jum'ah, they're asking, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Rasulullah, what was that? You're saying Ameen, we don't hear any other du'as or prayers you're saying. And the answer was that Sayyidina Jibreel came. As I stepped, first step, he said, may the one who reaching Ramadan and not gaining the paradise through, and he has one of his parents or both of them alive and not getting the guarantee of entering paradise through their services to them and caring for them and honoring them, may he be humiliated. And Prophet ﷺ said, Ameen. Second one, he said, the one who is reaching this month and not purified from all sins, not doing his efforts to clean himself, may also he be humiliated. When Allah humiliates somebody, it will be in dunya and akhirah. This is a great loss. If somebody humiliates you here, it will be a matter of moments and you may be going higher in dunya, and perhaps because of your patience and your good conduct and good manners, Allah raising also you in akhirah. But if Allah is putting somebody down, if the whole world coming together to raise him, it is impossible to raise that person. But if somebody, Allah giving him honor and raising his station, even if all mankind and jinn coming together to put that person down, it is impossible. Because what Allah giving, no one can take. What He is taking, no one can give. Then the third step, he said, Ameen. And Jibreel alayhi salam said, whoever hearing your name, the blessed and most beloved servant of Allah in divine presence, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and not saying salat and salam on you, also may he be also humiliated. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ameen. O believers, let us think and contemplate about the gains and great grants and benefits Allah has offered for us, especially in the month of generosity, the month of giving without counts, because in every other worshipping there is certain limits for the rewards. Only for Siyam, فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنْ أَجْزِي بِهِ. Allah saying, the fasting is for me and I will reward for it. No one knows the reward, only Allah. There is no limit in the grants which Allah has prepared from His generosity for His humble servants who are trying their best to gain the benefits and grants which Allah has prepared for Ummat Habib Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. May Allah grant us wisdom, hikmah, taqwa, and grants and benefits of this blessed month as He granted for His most beloved servants among the Anbiya and Sulaha and Ulama and Mukhlisin, and grant us to be amongst them in dunya and akhirat. Ameen. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidil awwaleen wal akhirin wa habib Rabbil Alameen wa shafi' al-munnibin Sayyidina Muhammad al-Nabi al-Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. ألا إن أحسن الكلام لغى النظام كلام الله الملك العزيز العلام. كما قال الله تبارك وتعالى في أحسن الكلام وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون. الحمد لله الحمد الكامل والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأولين والآخرين حبيب رب العالمين وشفيع المذنبين سيدنا محمد. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك في العالمين حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك في العالمين حميد مجيد. آمين. اللهم ارحمنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واسقنا واشفنا واشف مرضانا وارحم امواتنا واصلح شاننا وشان المسلمين وادخلنا في عبادك الصالحين مع الذين انعمت عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن اولئك رفيقا. اللهم اغفر لأمة محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. اللهم اغفر لأمة محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. اللهم اصلح أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اصلح أمة محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. اللهم انصر أمة محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. يا أرحم الراحمين ارحمنا، يا أرحم الراحمين فاعف عنا، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا غفار الذنوب، يا ستار العيوب، يا فتاح القلوب. اللهم اسقنا الغيث سقي رحمة ولا تجعلنا من القانطين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت أرحم الراحمين. والسلام على المرسلين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.